Hi all, I have another fascinating and instructive game to show you today. Stockfish 11 playing against Leela ID 62565, one of the more recent networks. So the opening scene set for this game is in the Sicilian defence, the 4 knights variation. So e4, c5, knight f3, you play e6 here with black, d4, c takes, knight f6, knight c3, and you bring out the other knights, so the 4 knights are out. And the author of this course would like it if maybe some people call it the 4 horsemen system, the 4 horsemen defense. So that's interesting. It's basically a relatively unexplored variation of the Sicilian, which, according to Wiki, the main use of it was to get the Sicilian Sveshnikov without bishop b5, but it seems to be a legitimate opening in its own right here. And an interesting test here, instead of white playing knight db5, for example, this is another interesting move, bishop g5 here. So, bishop g5, this is the end of the book given to both. Leela decides to play h6, takes the risk of playing h6. And here, bishop h4 was played. If bishop takes f6, you might think this could be useful for white. For example, if the queen is lured away from c7, not protecting c7, knight db5, and it looks kind of dangerous for knight d6 and knight c7. But can you see what black would play here? If I give you 5 seconds to pause the video. Okay, you just counterattack bishop c5 on the soft spot, f2. If knight d6, king f8, and this is very nice for black after queen d4 here, hitting that knight on d6, and this is very nice for black, this position at least equal. And it would be a disaster here to play knight c7 check, because the king could be carnivorous. King d8 with the lurking threat of queen f2 mate. So if knight takes, queen takes f2, checkmate. So it seems as though if white plays after h6, bishop f6, there's no real prospect there. So the bishop dropped back here. Playing to e3 seems a bit weird and inconsistent, and black can just play bishop b4. I don't think this is a severe weakening of the light squares or anything. And in fact, you know, even e5 here and d5, this should be fine for black. So we have bishop h4. The pin, bishop b4. Knight takes c6 is played, b takes, and now Stockfish plays queen f3. So that actually hits f6, threatening structural damage in some cases, and protects c3. So it does seem like kind of a useful move. The move to avoid for white here is to play e5. Can you see what black would play here if I give you 5 seconds? Okay, there's a very, very powerful response, queen a5, which hits e5 and c3. So if e takes, bishop takes c3 check, and this is more than awkward for white. If king e2, bishop a6 is winning the queen, that bishop a6 is check, winning the queen, and then the rook can even be taken after. So yeah, this is pretty disastrous here. If bishop d3, then just queen takes e5 check, and black has a big advantage, wiping out that centre pawn. So queen f3, a little bit tricky, and Leela decides to put the bishop back to e7 here in this case. Taking on c3 doesn't give black anything but a headache. After knight takes e4, there's queen takes g7, and this position is very nice for white actually. So bishop e7 is seemingly much more solid. Bishop d3. Here, if e5 was played, then knight d5 hits the bishop on h4, and if bishop takes, queen takes, this should be fine for black. Nothing too much to worry about. So bishop d3 was played. We have d6. White castles, e5. This opens up that light square bishop, so white can't really use d1 now. If rook ad1, then the skewer, bishop g4. So white has to trade a little bit carefully. If rook fe1, that actually runs into g5. This is an interesting line with h5, trying to trap the bishop, and black ends up being slightly better, it seems, in the example scenarios. Black gains space, and it's kind of useful to use the rooks like this. It's a nice scenario for black. Black's actually getting, in some of the variations I looked at, big advantages. So this tempo gaining device g5 is something to be worried about for white as well. This bishop on h4, black's always got this resource g5, it seems, to watch out for. So in fact here, after e5, Stockfish gave up the dark square bishop. We have bishop takes f6, b4. This looks to have some positional, menacing qualities after b5 to undermine d5 in some cases. Here, bishop c4, bishop e6, offering the double pawns. We have a similar imbalance that we've seen before. The bishop against the knight scenarios. a3, a5, knight a4, queen e7, queen b3, we see rook fb8, c3, queen e8, queen c2, rook a7. This seems quite nifty. The rooks could potentially double, and there could be pressure on a4 building up. The knight moves out of the way, and that makes way for a4, bishop d8, rook fb1. A takes, c takes, bishop b6. The bishop has got a nice central square to play with here, and uses that. It seems as though black's pretty comfortable in some respects. However, after c5, this offers white the opportunity to have, in theory at least, two connected passed pawns. It's how easily or not they can be blockaded or not, though, which is another factor here. Queen b7 hitting e4, that's protected. Rook a5, knight c1. At the moment, is the blockade that solid? Knight b3 aims to be quite dangerous. Rook c8, knight b3, rook a7, a5, another step forward. So this is starting to look quite tricky, isn't it? These two connected passed pawns. Knight takes d4 seemed also plausible, actually, as well. For example, this way of playing the position looks as though, there's chances for both sides. Both sides have passed pawns here. It's kind of dangerous for both sides. So a5, anyway. We have c4, a6, queen b6. You'll notice in this position, it seems natural to be able to blockade on the dark squares. And also black has her own passed pawn as well against the two connected passed pawns. So c3, rook a4, king h7, knight c4, queen c5, and it looks really, really dangerous. But at the moment, there are tactics which mean that b6 might not be as crushing as it seems. Knight a3 was played. If we look at b6 for a moment, black can deflect that rook protecting c4 just in time, and it seems as though this isn't such a big deal. This is nice for black, nice enough, very good compensation for being exchanged down, enough pawns there, and a protected pass pawn. If we look at this again, rook takes this position. Instead of b7, if we look at rook a4, queen c6, this scenario is also, it seems safe enough. It's difficult for white to do anything. White's kind of tied down there by black's pawn. So we see knight a3, queen b6, queen d3, rook ac7, knight c4. Yeah, white's arranging for this knight c4. Is this really dangerous? Queen a7. You might think this is getting a bit strange, isn't it? The thing is, black's got now a liberation pawn here because the blockade is not on, a lock and key has not been placed on the c pawn, and white plays rook a b4. You might think, what's going on here? Isn't there also like, there's a few things which seem fairly dangerous on there. If we look at this position, instead of rook a b4, if b6, bishop takes, knight takes, c2 is a great counter here, and then that can be taken safely. So it seems just about safe enough, these scenarios. So b6 doesn't seem as though that's great because of that reason. And actually, knight takes d6, c2 is leading to trouble for white. This position, even after a rook is gobbled here, just do not panic, just queen f2. just go over one's own trump card rather than being concerned about that. And here, black is doing very well. Black's winning this position. So it seems as though the tempting stuff, the visually tempting stuff, is really being refuted here. We have so rook AB4 looks to be still quite dangerous. We have rook B8, and now rook 4 to B3. Here, let's look. If B6 here, then bishop takes, knight takes, and C2 again is annoying, undermining basically B6 there just in time. And here, if after bishop takes B6, rook takes B6 is played, rook takes, knight takes C2, and again this is fine for black. So rook 4 to B3, rook CC8, and here Stockfish is tempted to play knight takes D6. So how dangerous is this? As options, say this pawn isn't taken, if B6 is hopeless, queen takes A6, and if a calm nothing move H3, maybe this is an interesting way to hold the position without too much risk for white. Blockade the C pawn, and maybe wait for black to play D5. White should be fine, it seems. But yes, knight takes D6 is played, testing black's pawn sack here. We have rook D8. Now knight B7. So where can this knight go? It's either B7, it seems, or C4. It goes to B7. If knight C4, queen C7, and if queen E2, this position looks as though, for example here, looks as though there's trouble after rook D2. In fact, this is very interesting. Bishop sack, but yeah, there's a back row mate issue here. So, and then the pawn crashes through. So some very, very interesting scenarios are going on here on knight C4. Let's look at that again. So I mentioned that queen E2. If B6, bishop takes B6, this position should be okay. That should be about even. So queen E2 was mentioned. We just saw this. Interesting. Now, instead of B6 here, which looks really quite tempting, if H3, then rook D4, B6, taking, this should be fine, believe it or not, for black. That should be fine. So very, very interesting. Knight C4 doesn't seem to do too much. So knight B7 was played. And we have rook DC8, queen C2 now. If B6 here, then bishop takes, rook takes. There's always C2 dragging the protection of that rook back, and then black can take there. So it's not all what it seems. It's not that easy with the two connected pass pawns. Queen B6, rook C1. So surely white's doing very well here, you might ask. White is, after all, a pawn up, and it's two connected pass pawns. The knight's kind of stuck on B7. The bishop seems to be quite pleased being on a nice central square. There's a nice pass pawn for black. Rook C7, H3, rook A8, rook BB1, rook AC8, rook B3, rook D7, queen D1. Now this looks, in general, pinning stuff looks, it looks to be a pretty safe pin because both these rooks are unprotected pieces, right? It looks as though there's no way this bishop can move. Another alternative here, before we look at the game situation, queen B1, it's no real problem for black. Black should have no real problem. So things were tested with queen D1, and there's a stunning move played in this position. I wonder if you want to pause the video for some time. You might want to take a few seconds to pause the video now and analyze the position at leisure for some time. It's an absolutely double exclamation mark move here. Really shocking move is played by Leela, which shows some remarkable resources in this particular position. Okay, are you ready for 500 points. Black to play. It's a shocker. Bishop e3, offering this rook, which leads to this rook. In fact, this is unthinkable. This is just totally unthinkable stuff. Bishop e3. If bishop f2 had been played, then for sure queen takes d7. This is no problem. There's no problem. You know, if that's the best, just loses the queen, and there's nothing really going on there. But so bishop e3 though is played. Queen takes. So guess what here? What does black play? Okay, bishop takes c1, so a double rook sacrifice. This would be like one of the immortal evergreen games, you know, where two rooks are offered for something spectacular. It's the engine equivalent, it seems. Two rooks are being offered here, one after the other. Okay, we're getting one of the rooks back. So queen takes c8 was played. If the queen retreats back here, then bishop f4, and you can see that c2 is quite nice with the bishop helping c1. So if queen c2, queen e3 as an example, and then queen d2, forcibly lifting the blockade here, this is just a disaster scenario for white. So queen takes c8, in for a penny, and one rook, in for a pound, another rook. However, guess what? Black plays here, which spells out doom for the white position. If I give you 5 seconds to pause the video here. Black to play for another 500 points. Okay. At this critical moment, queen f2. Seemingly letting the c3 pawn go. No love lost for the c3 pass pawn. But there's bigger fish to fry here. Stockfish. There's bigger stockfish aspects of the position to fry here. We see queen c5 being played. If rook b1, then check. Bishop f4 check. This is just mating on rook b1. On queen takes c3, check, check. And this is one way of mating. Yep. That leads to checkmate. And also, just for the record, here, there's also queen f2 check would be forcing mate. Because bishop takes g3 spells out queen h2 or queen f1 as mating. To which there's very little white can do to both of those at the same time. So, yeah, really dangerous stuff. So, in this scenario, Stockfish plays queen c5. It is protected by the knight. But now bishop e3, hitting the queen and supporting queen g1 mate. White gives up the queen, rather desperate. And here rook takes c3 and the game was over. White resigned with this move. If instead of rook takes c3, if b6, then check and c2. And this is the end of white's king here. So yeah, this game ended here after rook takes c3. It's too slow, these pawns. We could just take on c3. If a7, then there's the check, and then picking up a7. Pawns were never fast enough, it seems. So I thought that was a bit of a fascinating game. And I think that if AB engines are in time pressure, this is a very fast and furious time limit game, but you can imagine AB engines in time pressure against Leela. And all of a sudden Leela conjures up a double rook sack out of nowhere. Is this likely to happen in the official tournaments, I wonder? This swindling kind of capability from seemingly really defensive positions earlier on, just to spring out like that, this double rook sack, I thought was quite remarkable, quite interesting. But it is a fast time control, to be fair. So I think it shows the kind of spikes, the long spikes of analysis Leela could immediately kind of see, grasp, is very, very interesting. potentially tactically, because they say, you know, as if sometimes some say the neural networks are not strong tactically, but here, that tactic out of the blue was just remarkable, I thought, in this particular game, to see that so quickly. Okay, and if you want to try out this Sicilian Defence 4 Knights variation, there's that fantastic course to try out now at Kingscrusher TV/Sicilian 4 Knights. Check that out. So this has a lot of dynamic, interesting aspects, this variation of the Sicilian, which seems to be quite major in its own right, not just as a tool to get a nice Sveshnikov without hassle, but the pin seems to have, the bishop e4 pin, seems to have some great implications for black in the various variations. So I hope you check that out. Okay, thanks very much.